What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and today we're going to have two uploads as well as a live stream tonight around 7:30 Central Standard Time. And being September 11th, I thought I would break out this video that will deservedly, hopefully, show some respect to the NYPD, unlike this article which was published yesterday. And you might be saying, what does this have to do with Spider-Man, one of the most universally loved new releases of this year? Well, that's a good question. I asked myself that same very thing. But Deadspin put out a review of Spider-Man and says they turned Spider-Man into a damn cop and it sucks. Here we go. Now, I want to first point out that Spider-Man is parading around New York wearing red, white, and blue like some kind of conservatard drumfer. Okay? I want to point that out. That is problematic. I don't know why they didn't change his suit. It's very triggering to see the colors of the American flag on a superhero, because America was never great. Didn't you guys know that? I mean, let's get into this. The new Spider-Man game came out for PS4 last week, and I was eager to spend a chunk of my weekend playing it. My ass. Nobody who actually likes video games writes this article, okay? I hate that it's like, oh, he's not a real gamer. Well, you're not. You're a activist who is forced to write about video games. Some things I immensely enjoyed during my first few hours of playtime. Web slinging, jumping off buildings, whispers, whoa, and then just looks at the real Empire State Building, or web swinging. So the only thing this guy liked about the game was web swinging, is what it sounds like. It also doesn't sound like he played the entire game, but we'll get into that. One thing I definitely did not enjoy was how the game turned Spider-Man into a friggin' cop. They turned Spider-Man into the friggin' frogs. I mean, friggin' cops. Granted, I'm only a few hours into the game, but you stopped to write this review. This editorial, this garbage tier take. But so far, the primary objective boils down to help the cops, not just any cops either, but the NYPD specifically. By the way, brave men and women, just like the New York Fire Department, the emergency services, who ran into harm's way. And many of them lost their lives. So you could write this article disparaging them. So, you're welcome, I guess. Specifically because the game takes place in a true-to-life rendering of New York City. It's dumb to expect video games to be responsible reflections of real life. But it is also impossible for me to at least feel some ickiness about the game forcing me into cahoots with even a fictionalized version of the NYPD. Let me just stop you right there. Go fuck yourself. Just saying. Video games are about escapism. If you don't want to play Spider-Man, there's literally a million other options. In fact, I'm pretty sure you don't even like playing video games. You're forced to adhere these garbage tier social justice takes to whatever's hot, whatever's the hot topic. That's how these articles work, or these websites and news outlets. They take the same tired garbage, in this case, shitting on the NYPD. And look, I'm not saying all cops are good, but the overwhelming majority of them are. He is saying he doesn't want to help the NYPD at all. Well, I hope you never need to call them. An organization that routinely oppresses some of the most vulnerable residents in the city where I live. Oh, you live in New York? Boy, I hope you never, ever need to call them. I'm assuming if your house or if you get robbed, you're not going to call them, right? Because that'd be basically feeding into their oppression. But now he tells you, just in case you thought he was grasping at straws. I'm not grasping for straws, as it may appear. A little self-conscious, my man? Spider-Man doesn't just help the cops by catching armed robbers and putting deranged supervillains in jail. He helps them maintain a high-tech citywide surveillance network. Holy shit. By the way, he's not helping the police. He's helping the citizens. Spider-Man helps Yuri. And by extension, okay, the NYPD. But he doesn't help the NYPD specifically. At that time, she's the only one he trusts. He even often talks about making sure to leave the scene, as one commenter points out, before the police show up. Goes on to say, I get it, it's cool and woke to hate on cops, but this seems dumb. They're fictionalized digital police that regularly fight psychos dressed in animal-themed power suits. Save this shit for the real world. Video games are an escape. That's a good comment. And he doesn't really help them maintain the system so much as use it, from what I've gathered. Surveillance towers stand atop various buildings throughout the city. When these towers are repaired, they allow NYPD to monitor all citizens within a certain radius of the tower, and for Spider-Man to get real-time updates on what's happening within the city via an uplink with the towers. So Spider-Man uses it to protect people. This is a game mechanic that will be familiar to anyone who's played an open-world RPG in the last decade. What the towers functionally do is reveal areas of the game map to players so they can find additional missions and collectibles. Oh, isn't that interesting? But it isn't strictly a game mechanic. It's also a narrative choice. And one that comes with some pretty obvious real-world parallels. The NYPD buying cutting-edge equipment and software from a shady tech company owned by a billionaire with maniacal tendencies. Aha, of course! There we go. So that it can monitor and collect data on our citizens is a dystopian yet sensible video game plot. It's also literally something that happened in the real New York City. Spider-Man deserves better than to be allied with such forces. A big part of the character's appeal is that he is just as much under the thumb of the city as the people he tries to help. He's from a shattered family. He works multiple jobs. He can't pay his bill. He's stressed out all the time. He's not a hero who swoops down from on high in order to save commoners from themselves. He is a commoner. Therein rests everything that's inspiring about the character. He's just a guy who wants to make life better for people who are dealing with the same struggles as he is. Right. So you literally say that. I agree with all of that. But none of that is about him helping the police. This is just an opportunity, by the way, a day before 9/11, for you to shit on the NYPD. What this new game does is put Spider-Man up on a perch where he doesn't belong. You know what? I'm going to buy Spider-Man today. Maybe I'll stream it later this week. No, I'm going to buy it. I wasn't going to buy it because I don't really have time. I think I need to make time to play it. He no longer performing heroic deeds out of just the goodness of his heart. He's also for the purpose of solidifying the existing power structure's grip on the city. Again, this is how the first few hours of the game works. You haven't even played more than a few hours of the game. And you put up this garbage tier article. And I felt like from my basement in front of a laptop and a monitor, I too could be a hero today a little bit. Try to stick up for the NYPD. All collectives of people, when you collectivize them, if in this case it's the NYPD, you could use the same thing like I talked about in my H3 video yesterday, the military. Yes, of course, there's some bad apples. But too often, we use those few bad apples to smear everybody else. And the mistakes are what get reported, not these men and women putting their life on the line, working long hours to help citizens, running towards danger, not away from it. That doesn't get covered because apparently nobody cares. But you better believe the one mistake they make will have wall-to-wall coverage, which simply is dishonest and ignores the millions of interactions that they probably have a day with citizens where they're helping them, or at the very least, nothing goes wrong. I'm not going to defend blanket the police or the military, but what I am going to say is you can't then just shit on them all either. Give me examples and I will agree that there are bad apples. But the NYPD, police, military, EMT, emergency services, by overwhelming margins, are good people who are out there to help their fellow citizens, just like Spider-Man.